Okay, so you know how sometimes you run into someone and you walk away feeling kind of like off?
Yeah.
Not like they were like a bad person.
Right.
Just like they left you feeling a bit worse, you know?
Yeah.
Like less than.
Oh, absolutely. That's a really subtle but powerful thing, toxic behavior.
Yeah, it's not always like super obvious.
Right.
And that's why today we're going to do a deep dive into how to deal with those kind of people.
Cool.
And we're going to be using 13 techniques inspired by Stoicism.
Interesting.
Which sounds super old school philosophy.
You're right, it's ancient. Yeah.
But the thing is, it's shockingly relevant for these kind of modern problems.
Total.
And the cool part is Stoicism isn't about just like putting up with crap, you know?
Yeah, no.
It's about choosing how we react.
Exactly.
Even when things are messy.
Love that.
So first off, how do we even know if someone's being toxic?
Yeah, great question. It's not always clear-cut, right?
Right.
It can be sneaky. Like, you ever get those compliments that feel kind of like dot insults?
Ugh, yeah. Like backhanded things disguised as jokes.
Or that friend who's,
Yes.
after all I've done for you.
Guilt trip central.
Classic guilt trip, yeah.
It makes you question if you're the problem.
Totally.
And that's why it can be so draining.
Yeah.
You doubt yourself, you're always apologizing.
Makes you feel small.
Exactly.
You know what I realized? If you're always explaining someone's bad behavior to other people, that's a huge sign.
Oh, 100%. It's like you're trying to convince yourself it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But deep down, you feel it.
And that brings us to a Stoic idea, right?
Yeah.
We can't control what other people do.
Nope.
Only how we react.
That's the key.
So wait, that friend who always freaks out or family that makes you feel bad for having boundaries,
Yep.
that's more about them than me.
Most likely, yes. It's often them projecting their own stuff.
Whoa, mind blown.
Right. It's a shift in perspective.
You
go from victim to like, I have a choice here.
So how do we actually do that though? Like what's our first move?
Boundaries, my friend.
Boundaries.
But not like walls, okay?
Right.
It's about self-preservation.
Okay, so what does that look like? Like, give me an example.
Could be limiting calls, refusing to discuss certain topics,
Ooh, like that.
saying no to things that drain you,
So being firm,
firm and clear, yes.
but that can be hard, right?
Oh, for sure.
Especially with people we care about.
Yeah, you don't want to seem mean.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. You don't owe long explanations.
Really?
This is what I need is enough.
Short and sweet.
Exactly.
But what if they keep pushing?
Then we get into non-reaction.
Non-reaction.
It's like they're trying to get a rise out of you, but you just stay calm.
So they're like yelling and I'm just chilling.
Doesn't that let them win, though?
Not at all. See, we choose how we respond. Not reacting takes away their power.
Huh. Like they're swinging at nothing.
Exactly.
And the more I do this...
The more you realize it's their issue, not yours.
Okay, so boundaries, non-reaction.
Right.
What else? Let's talk gray rock.
Ooh, mysterious.
Basically, you become uninteresting.
Like I'm boring them on purpose.
Not rude, just unresponsive.
Short answers, no opinions.
Yep, you starve the negativity.
So they're like, never mind.
Exactly, they move on to easier targets.
That's kind of funny, actually.
It is.
But what about those people who just, like, wear you down with requests?
That's where the broken record comes in.
Does that really work?
It's surprisingly effective. You calmly repeat your boundary.
Over and over.
Like a broken record. No arguing, just stating your need.
So they're like guilt tripping.
And you're like, nope, can't do it.
On repeat.
Exactly. It takes their power away.
But what if even with all this, the relationship just feels bad?
Sometimes less is more.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is, especially with loved ones.
So it's okay to step back.
It can be essential for your well-being.
Not out of hate, but
Self-love.
self-love, right?
To protect your energy.
What would that look like practically?
Seeing them less, keeping talks short.
Avoiding certain topics.
Yep. Finding a level that feels safe for you.
This is huge.
It is.
It's not always cutting ties, just adjusting.
Exactly.
So let's say we're doing all this, but still feeling the effects.
Yeah.
How do we build up our resistance to that negativity?
Support system is key.
Like my friends.
Yep. Toxic people isolate you.
So they're the only voice you hear.
Right. But positive people counteract that,
They remind you of your worth.
then reinforce your boundaries.
It's like having backup.
The best kind.
So it's not just what we do, but who we're with.
Absolutely.
This is making me realize it's like a whole like self-care package we got to build.
Yes. And that brings us to another point. Prioritize self-care.
Self-care, love it.
Not selfish, essential.
What kind of things?
Varies, but mindfulness, hobbies, saying no without guilt.
It's about recharging.
Exactly.
But what about when it feels like no matter what I do, it's not enough?
That brings us to a hard truth. You can't fix everyone.
Yeah, that one hurts.
It does, but it's freeing too.
How so?
You're not responsible for their healing. You
No.
can only control yourself.
That takes the pressure off.
Right. Focus on your boundaries, not their issues.
Okay, that makes sense.
Good.
But what about when I can't avoid them? Like a coworker or something?
Then we use cognitive reframing.
Cognitive what now?
It's choosing how you think about their behavior.
Okay, example, please.
Someone's always criticizing you.
Hate that.
Instead of thinking you're a failure, ask,
Ask what?
is this about me or their own insecurity?
Ooh, like they're actually the messed up one.
Often, yes.
So it's not denying reality, but seeing it differently.
Exactly. So their negativity has less power.
I like that.
Good.
But what about when someone's really hurt you?
That's where forgiveness comes in.
Ooh, loaded word.
It is, but it's not about them.
It's not.
It's about freeing yourself from the anger.
So it's not saying they were right.
Nope. It's letting go of the burden you're carrying.
But how do you actually do that?
Start small, forgiving minor annoyances.
Like someone cutting me off in traffic.
Exactly. Builds up the muscle.
Okay, I can try that.
Good.
But what about when, even with all this, it's just too toxic?
Sometimes walking away is the healthiest choice.
Even if it hurts.
Especially then. You deserve to be in relationships that lift you up.
Not drag you down.
Exactly.
So walking away is actually choosing myself.
It is. It's courageous.
This is making me rethink a lot of stuff.
That's the point.
This is powerful stuff.
It is.
I feel like I'm already starting to shift how I see things.
That's wonderful.
Okay, we've covered a ton.
We have.
I'm already feeling inspired.
Good.
Let's take a quick pause to gather our thoughts.
Sounds like a plan.
We'll be back soon to explore even more Stoic strategies.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
You know, when we talk about Stoicism, it's not about becoming, like, emotionless.
Right, not like robots.
Exactly. It's about choosing how we react to stuff.
Even when it's hard.
Especially then. That's where the power comes in.
Before we paused, we were talking about walking away from toxic people.
Mm-hmm.
But even when you do, it can still feel, like, heavy, you know?
Oh, totally. It's like the emotional baggage sticks around.
So how do we actually let go of that stuff?
That's where the Stoic idea of, well, letting go comes in.
Makes sense.
Not forgetting, but choosing to not be controlled by it.
Easier said than done, though.
Oh, for sure. But there are things that help. Journaling, for one.
I love journaling.
The Stoics were big on self-reflection, and writing helps process those tough feelings.
It's like a safe space to unpack everything.
Exactly. And as you write, try to figure out what thoughts are keeping you stuck.
Like, what do you mean?
Ask yourself, am I holding on to anger because I feel wronged?
Ooh, yeah.
Or am I replaying things because I'm scared to be hurt again?
Those are deep.
They are, but facing them is freeing.
It's like bringing them into the light.
Exactly, they lose their power.
And once I'm aware of them.
Then you challenge them. Stoicism is all about rational thinking.
So I ask, are these thoughts even true?
Are they helping me? Or are they based on fear?
So not denying feelings, but checking if they're valid.
Exactly. And as you untangle those knots, you create space to let go.
And then I can see things more clearly.
With more compassion for yourself and the other person.
This reminds me of that Stoic idea, amor fati, right?
Yes, it's love of fate.
Not about liking everything, but accepting what you can't change.
And finding the lessons, even in the hard stuff.
It's like turning poison into medicine.
Beautifully said. And as you let go, you make room for new, better things.
New beginnings.
Exact.
This whole letting go thing is powerful stuff.
It is, and it ties into another big Stoic idea, self-mastery.
Okay, self-mastery sounds intense.
It's about recognizing we have power over our inner world.
Not like denying emotions, though.
No, but seeing them as waves. They
Yeah.
come and go, we don't have to drown in them.
We learn to surf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We observe them, we choose how to act.
So how do we get better at this self-mastery thing?
Mindfulness is a huge one.
Mindfulness. Everyone talks about it.
It's basically paying attention to the present moment.
Like right now.
Yep, your breath, your senses, without judgment.
So I'm not lost in thoughts about the past or future.
You're right here, fully present.
And that helps how?
When you're mindful, you're less likely to get swept away.
By negative emotions.
Exactly. You see them, you acknowledge them.
But you don't let them control you.
You choose your response.
The creating space between the feeling and the reaction.
And the more you practice, the better you get at it.
You build up that resilience.
Exactly.
So mindfulness is like a superpower.
It is.
It helps us deal with toxic people and just life in general.
That's the beauty of it. It strengthens you from the inside out.
This is reminding me of what the Stoics said about happiness.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from what happens to us, but from within.
They were big on that.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Me too.
This is powerful stuff.
It is.
But I have one more question.
Okay.
What about when I can't avoid the toxic person? Like they're a coworker or family I gotta see.
That's a tough one. But even then, there are stoic tools we can use.
Okay, give me those tools.
One is approaching the interaction with detachment.
Detachment, like I don't care?
No, not like that. More like observing with emotional distance.
Ooh, like I'm watching a movie.
Exactly. You appreciate the show, but you're not in it.
Creates that mental space.
Yes, you're protected by that distance.
So a coworker starts complaining.
And you see their frustration, but you don't absorb it.
I can acknowledge it without taking it on.
You could say, it sounds like you're having a tough time.
Validate without getting sucked in.
Precisely.
Focus on your breath.
My breath.
Yep. Deep, slow breaths when you feel tense.
Like a mini meditation.
Exactly. Calms the nervous system.
And that's something I can control.
Always.
Exactly.
Remember, you can always choose your response.
Like, I don't have to react.
You can stay silent, change the subject, even excuse yourself.
I'm not trying.
Nope, you have options. Protecting your peace is important.
This is making me feel way more capable.
Good, that's the goal.
So even in tough situations, I have power.
You always do.
This has been so helpful.
I'm glad.
I feel like I have a whole new toolkit now.
Excellent.
And, it's not just about dealing with toxic people.
Right.
It's like a whole new way of approaching life.
Exactly.
More intentional, more peaceful.
That's what Stoicism is all about.
This deep dive has been incredible.
It has.
But I think we've covered just about everything on this topic.
I think you're right. And as we wrap up, I can't help but reflect on one of the core Stoic insights.
Oh, I'm ready for some final wisdom. Okay, hit me with that Stoic wisdom.
It's the idea that true freedom comes from controlling what we can control.
Which is?
Our own thoughts and actions, basically.
Oh, I like that.
It means even surrounded by negativity, we have a choice.
How we react to it.
Exactly. It's like you can't stop birds from flying overhead.
Right.
But you can stop them nesting in your hair.
Haha, love that visual.
So we can't control toxic people.
Nope.
But we can control our own inner world.
And that creates what?
A kind of safe space, a sanctuary.
Where their crap can't reach me.
Exactly. You're protected by that inner peace.
Makes me think of times I got so caught up in someone's drama, I lost myself.
Happens to the best of us. And that's where self-awareness comes in.
Knowing my own buttons, so to speak.
Exactly. The more you understand your triggers, the better you handle things.
Like having a map of my own mind.
I like that. You know where the danger zones are?
So I can avoid them, or at least be ready.
Exactly. It's not just reacting, it's being proactive.
So we're not victims, we're actually in control.
More and more, the more you practice this stuff.
And the more inner peace we have.
The less those outside forces can mess with us.
Like building up an immunity to toxicity.
I love that analogy.
You know what's cool? All this Stoic stuff, it doesn't just help us deal with toxic people.
Right.
It helps us be better people too.
I was just thinking that. When we practice non-reaction, forgiveness, letting go.
We're training ourselves to be more understanding.
Exactly. Responding with wisdom, not anger.
So it's like good vibes are contagious too.
I believe so. You protect yourself
Yeah.
and spread a little peace around.
What an effect, huh?
Makes the world a little better, one interaction at a time.
This has been mind-blowing.
I'm glad you got something out of it.
Not just about toxic people, it's like a life philosophy.
That's the power of Stoicism.
Well, on that note, folks, I highly recommend checking out Stoicism for yourselves.
It's worth it.
Trust me, you won't regret it. And until next time, remember, the power to choose your response, to find peace, to live a life you're proud of, that's all within you.
Beautifully said. It's a journey, but we're all in this together.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time for more adventures in self-discovery.